Welcome to another episode of Fougere Family Adventures. Today, I am targeting lake trout here in the Caribou region of British Columbia. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel. Now, I've heard a lot of different things about fishing for lake trout. This week, the weather has not been very great. We've had thunder, we've had lightning, we've had rain. I've heard a lot of people tell me if there's thunder and lightning, the lake trout fishing settles down, they're not going to bite. But I've been finding that that's not the case. You want to be out here right after a storm goes through, and more often than not, we're getting bit. Now, the fish here in this lake, today I'm fishing Canim Lake, are very moody. I've had some people tell me that the fishing is really good. Personally, the fishing is okay, and it just makes me more intrigued to try and get these fish to bite. We're using lots of different types of lures. We're using jigs, we're jigging for lake trout, we're using buzz bombs, we're using Gibbs minnows, and this year we're trying something new. We're trying Rapala Crush City soft baits, and they're working really well. So this morning, the rain is kind of threatening to spit a little bit on us. So put on my dry shod boots. Absolutely love these boots. Now, normally I have my jig closer to my rod tip, but I'm trying a few different things here. I'm trying new 30-pound braided line. I have 30-pound fluorocarbon line, and I've tried tying an Albright knot. That knot got a lot of abuse. I had a really long leader. I'm looking to try longer leaders on this new 13 fishing Defy rod and on my new Penn reel. The Albright knot that I had with a longer leader, it wore out. It actually broke off. So what I've done for now is I've just put a swivel and a 3-foot leader. It's working. We've had fish bite, but I do want to try those longer leaders. Now, if you've watched some of my other lake trout videos, the method that I like to use for jigging is I troll around and I zigzag. I find where the lake comes up to the depth that the fish are at and then where it drops back down. This trip, it's been a little different. We're a little bit later in the year. The pollen has already come. The cottonwood is almost done off the trees. We saw a little bit the other day. And the mayflies are starting to hatch. The lake level is lower than last year. The water clarity is better. And these fish seem to be going deeper right away. So we're trying somewhere in between 50 to 70 feet, and we're finding fish. There's one there. I'm not ready. I will drop down. Boat goes into neutral. I will back up. It's a pretty good mark. And if it's not too windy, I'll actually shut my motor off, because then it gives less noise disturbance in the water, and it gives those fish a chance to bite. Now, when I jig, I want to make sure I just hit that bottom. I'm getting backwards to where I was, so you can see my line is coming up. My rod is up like this. We don't want that. So I'll reel down. I want my rod tip more of a 45 towards the water. I want to be ready in case that fish bites. There's different jigging techniques that you can use. Sometimes just a steady up, down works. Sometimes you can tap the bottom. Depending on the type of jig you're using, if you're using a really heavy jig, it'll go right down and you can thump that bottom, make lots of noise. The fish actually hears that and he comes in to investigate. If you're using a buzz bomb or a buzz bomb type lure, like the old Zac Attacks from Gibbs, you can jig up and let it flutter, or you can jig up and lower it down. Those types of lures, I'll usually jig up and let it flutter if the fish is not on my screen. Now, that doesn't mean the fish isn't there if I can't see him, because sometimes they'll hug the bottom, especially when you're using a Garmin Striker 4 like I have. They can be there, but if they're not showing on your screen, give them a few minutes. If they don't come back in, they're not interested, and go find another fish. Now, the problem I have with using a swivel attached to braid is sometimes you're not paying attention, you reel up too quick and your swivel is hitting the eyelet of your rod. It's not a good thing. So you have to be very mindful of that. There's another fish dropping down. Put your boat neutral, give it a second, back your boat up. Now, if they're not liking this jig, I'll give it a few fish, but if they're not liking this jig, I'll switch the jig up a bit. Sometimes, just by changing the jig, you can get a reaction bite. So this fish came off the bottom here. Once he goes away, I'll change up, but he's still there. So I don't want to come out of the water if he's still, oh, there he goes. Now we find these fish bite better in pairs. If you can mark a pair of lake trout, usually they'll come in and one of them will hit your bait. I don't really know the reason on why that's happening. I'm going to assume that it's competition, food competition, and that's why we're getting hit. Okay, so there are some fish in here, but nothing is biting. So I'm going to slowly start jigging up. If they're feeding, some of them are actually 30 feet. I've marked them 30 feet. We're going to reel up. We're going to watch that swivel. We're going to quickly switch. I've got a Buzz Bomb on this rod. It's not my favorite rod. It's a $20 rod from the fishing hole in Alberta. We're going to get down there. So the fish are still on my screen. I'm changing the presentation, changing the bait profile. We're doing lots of different things here. Some of these lake trout can be profile specific. I think I just got tapped there on the way down. And if they're profile specific, you want to get that proper size. There he is. There he is. Perfect. Oh, and this is fighting just like the fish the other day. I'm really hoping he didn't snag himself. But what we find is when you're jigging and you're hitting the bottom, for whatever reason, maybe they're swimming around and you're jigging up and you're hitting them. Don't think that's what's happening. I think what's happening is they come down and some fish will, I've heard, they'll lay on their bait. They want to kill that bait, lay on it. Someone will come by and smack it, so get them in the tail. But if you get them in the belly, usually they're being protective of what's there. There's two more fish down here, so that's probably what happened. He probably wanted to land on top of that bait so that no other fish could get it. But as you can see, all I did was switch my jig, switch my bait profile. Went from that Gibbs minnow, which has been very successful on this lake, to a smaller 3-inch heavy, which is one of my favorites, 3-inch heavy Buzz Bomb, and blue. I like either blue or green Buzz Bombs, and I'll use them in like the 5-inch, or I think it's 5-inch size, just a small skinny size. Usually Canadian Tire holds those. Yeah, right in the back tail. So this one here came and right in the tail. So yesterday we had one there as well. There, the hook came out. Okay, I'll show you this fish. Now we're letting this one go. Nice little laker. Hey, will they get bigger than this? This would be a good eating size. Gone. These fish have no trouble swimming away in this water. It's nice and warm. Don't handle them too much. Try and keep them in your net. Take a picture, let them go. Fish are still down there. I'll check my jig, we're good. I'm gonna drop back down. Now I told everyone I was getting up at 4 in the morning this morning. I wanted to figure out why these fish weren't biting. I slept in, so hopefully if they wake up, they'll give me a call on my radio. I always carry a radio with me. We're out of cell service right now, so a radio is great from base camp, from the cabin. They can give me a call if they want me to come in. If I need help, I can call for help. But I decided to come out 7:08. Now normally I haven't had lake trout bite at this time of the day. Maybe it's just the timing. Maybe I'm not out here enough. I do want to come out here enough. Or maybe there's something that's changed that has turned these lake trout on. A lot of the fish that we mark have empty stomachs. The smaller fish have had fish in their bellies. They've had actually pretty good size coarse fish in their bellies. But the larger lake trout that we're catching, for whatever reason, have empty stomachs. If you have any ideas why these fish are not feeding, why their stomachs are empty, is it the time of the year? What are these fish doing? Please comment down below. Now I'm going to show you one of the jigs that we've been using. This is a blue holographic buzz bomb. It's not very big. It's the size of my hand. So the blue, you see that? That right there is a great bait profile. When you jig it, it flutters, or you jig it and you just pound the bottom. It's heavy enough to get down there. That's a 3-inch heavy. That being said, I don't usually use the hooks that come with most jigs or lures because I find they get dull right away. Personally, I like the Gamakatsu hooks, so I use a lot of treble Gamakatsu hooks when I'm allowed to. I've been trying the VMC hooks with the jig heads from Rapala. They did send me these to try, and they've been working quite well. Good sized jig heads, nice heavy enough. I actually found some 1-ounce jig heads at the fishing store the other day, so I bought those VMC jigs. And we'll see how those hooks work. But this here is the perfect bait profile. Don't forget about bait profiles. So it would appear that we have lake trout feeding today. Now the whole time I was thinking that, oh, cloudy weather, rain, fishing's going to be terrible. Why should I even go? Sleeping in lots. So don't be afraid of the weather when it comes to lake trout fishing. There's fish on the bottom here now. They were up at 30, 40, and then they went right to the bottom. We've got a couple fish down below. So again, we have that competition. I might get these guys to bite. Now the wind is picking up. Because I don't have a fancy bow-mounted trolling motor that will keep me in place, someday I hope to have one, I need to work my motor. Now I'm torn whether or not this actually affects the fish because I've had them hit running my motor and not running my motor. So once we get into this heavier wind like this, I'm getting pushed around, I typically jump into my heavier jigs. I have an 1.5 or 2-ounce Gibbs minnow. I'm going to switch to that, and that will help keep me a little bit more up and down in the water column. So we're going back over to my new 13 fishing spinning rod. It's an 8'2". It's a fast action, I believe. Fast action, medium heavy power, and you can run 1/2 ounce to 1.5 ounces, 10 to 20 pound line. So it's a pretty good rod, pretty beefy rod. And there's a fish down there. So I'll just get myself positioned in the wind. It can be a little bit much at times. If you're with a big boat of people, sometimes the captain just spends all his time keeping the boat in position, and that's fine. I like catching fish. I don't really care if it's me. I want to see you guys catch fish. I want to see me catch fish, or the people on my boat. I really like watching people catch fish. Just the excitement you get from catching a fish. You can let it go. You can keep it based on your regulations, of course. And everyone has a good time. Lake trout colors for me, popular lake trout colors for me, white, blue, green, and chartreuse. If you can find those 4 colors in the same bait, just get those 4 colors, and that'll help you narrow down what color is good. A lot of those colors work really good in low visibility water, and they work really good for depth. I've turned on my waypoint map on my Garmin Striker 4. I'm basically fishing all the same areas. The fish can be here, they cannot be here. Got perfect jigging weather right now. Oh, see that? See that? There he is. He smacked it a few times. Ha ha! This feels small, but it's hard to tell. The smaller ones usually roll more. You can see my rod bouncing, that's him rolling around. So we'll give him time to smarten up there. Let him burp a little bit of air out. He's rolling like crazy, so you just don't know. And I've even seen burbot do this as well, but this is fighting a lot harder than a burbot. He's at about 30 feet right now. He's got some weight to him. So we'll mark this spot again for my waypoint map. He's at about 22 feet. Get ready here. Coffee away. We are 10 o'clock in the morning, 10:10. And we've got fish biting. Okay, he's got some weight to him now. Just adjust my drag. I like this new Penn Battle IV. It's a 4000 series reel. I wanted a reel that I could do lake trout, rainbows. Oh, he's got some weight to him. He's decided that he's going to hold down. So lake trout like to just bury. They want to get deep, deep, deep. There's some bubbles over here. I'm not sure if you can see that on camera. So he's burped. Wonderful. That's what I want to see. The water's dark where you can barely see them sometimes. Oh, wow. That's a nice lake trout. Swallowed my green buzz bomb. I always give them one more chance at the boat to kind of dive. They like to try and dive one last time. Then we'll get him into our landing net. He's burping lots here. There he goes. You always give him one last time. I don't want to overtire the fish, but I don't want to be fighting him as well. He's burping a little bit more. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful fish. Yeah. My net is a little small. I bought this net for catch and release, and he absolutely inhaled that buzz bomb. There we go. Okay. So we'll take care of this. We'll get the hook out. We'll show you this fish. Okay, how is that for a lake trout? That's a beautiful fish. Let's get him back in the water. Gorgeous, gorgeous fish. He's got lots of kick. Oh, there he goes. Sometimes these things bleed like crazy. I'd love to know your opinion on it when you hook him. He really swallowed the hook. But this guy took off like nothing was wrong. He was all powerful, and it makes me question, you know, you catch a big fish. If he's bleeding, do you let him go? Lake trout, they bleed all the time. I don't know, 80% of the time they bleed a little bit. Whew. Okay, well, I hope you like that fish. Caught on a green buzz bomb. I actually changed the profile up a bit here. So that is the buzz bomb. I'll show you here. Okay, that's it. Green buzz bomb, made right here in British Columbia. Hooks are sharp. Got Gamakatsu hooks on there. Different profile, a little bit of a slimmer bait compared to my 3-inch heavies. Did that make the difference? I don't know. We haven't really been fishing the green much this week, so I thought I'd throw a green buzz bomb on. And there you go. That's what caught that fish. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel. So that was the biggest lake trout I have caught on this new 13 fishing rod. Nice spinning rod. It held up well. My Albright knot 30-pound fluoro to 30-pound braid held up well. And the fluoro has not been nicked, so the abrasion resistance worked really well as well. May have some rain clouds coming, but the weather above us is blue. It's probably what has helped trigger the bite. We've been here for almost a week, and there's only been a few days where it's kind of been nice weather. Really think that has affected our fishing, and I think these fish are starting to go on the feed now. Fortunately, we have to leave in a few days, so we might actually miss some good fishing days. He's coming up to me, just about down. There's 2 fish down there. That's good. It's good to see. We got one suspended, so I'm going to target him for a bit, then I'm going to drop down. I'm going to force that fish to chase it. I'm on the bottom. I'm going to make some noise down there. You can work a buzz bomb a few different ways. They're designed, you jig up really quick and then they'll flutter. Or you jig up really quick and you let it down. I like to let it down more often than not. Sometimes if I'm trying to attract them, I'll jig up, I'll let it flutter. Problem with that is, if I can make it happen, you'll see it. Sometimes your line gets wrapped around your rod tip. That can be an issue for you if you hit a fish right away. But when they flutter, they send out a great vibration in the water and they'll call those fish right into you. But if you just do little jigs and you watch your line, you should be able to keep control of that lure and you should be able to feel a fish bite. You will feel the buzz bomb slide up your line and then go back down. If you take a look on the side of your boat before you drop it in the water and you do that, you'll actually see it slide up and then down and catch the hook. It'll slide away from the hook and come back to the hook. That's okay, that's what you want. And that's another reason why a controlled drop, you can keep the buzz bomb right next to the hook. You got to be ready to drop down if you're fishing this method. I basically have my lure right close to my transducer. It's on this side of the boat. There's a fish, drop, neutral, reverse. And I'm going to go slowly. That fish is still there. You drop right away. If you don't drop right away, you might miss that area the fish is in. And using a heavier bait, you can usually get down there quicker because these fish aren't just stationary. They are swimming around. They're not like a trout in a creek. They're moving around, looking for bait, looking for food, I should say. I just got tapped there, actually. It's very difficult, but don't get confused with your buzz bomb bouncing around down there when you're watching a fish on the screen. You get a little excited. So you got to be very patient. I'm still marking that fish on the screen, which is good. You want him to stay close. You just want that fish to be interested. You want him to find your jig. You want him to find your lure. Hopefully he can bite it. This one has kind of disappeared off my screen for now. That doesn't mean he's not there. There he comes back again. Good. So I haven't seen a lot of this trip with the weather the way it is. Haven't really seen these fish come off the bottom a lot. We mark them, we go, and they're gone. So this is a good sign. I'm gonna reel up a bit, drop back down. If you can find multiple fish, you can usually find a fish that's willing to bite. I do believe it's some kind of competition between them. They know there's a bait in the area. They both hear it. I just had a little tap there. Now this bottom here is rocky. I've lost a couple lures here. I don't really enjoy fishing this area, and I can't stress enough. You want to make sure your rod tip is as close to the water as you can once you hit the bottom. So if you have to let a little bit out, even right there, then you have room to pull up and set the hook when the fish bites. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video fishing for lake trout here on Canim Lake in British Columbia. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel and follow me for more fishing adventures coming soon.